I don't think that there's anyone doing more work to make Bloomington, one Bloomington, a community.
Tara's really created a village for families here in Bloomington to easily find and connect with other families.
Never did she say, like, I've never done this before, I don't know if I can do it. It's always, I've never done this before, let's figure out how to do it.
A lot of people would probably have similar ideas and be, oh, wouldn't that be great to do this, to do that? Tara's the person that's like, okay, let's do it. Let's get an email out, let's put a list together, let's send out these invitations. She's the doer.
I'm Tara Owens. I lead the Tod Pod group in Bloomington, and I also chair the Bloomington Early Learning Advisory Council. Tod Pod got started in the early fall of 2020, coming off of early pandemic lockdown time. It's short for Toddler Pod. It was a group of families with children basically 1 to 5 years old that wanted to meet at local parks and have social time both for the little kids and their grown-ups. We had a weekly park play date, and we would just rotate around all of Bloomington's awesome parks. And we did try to kind of do east and west and north and south and kind of made an adventure out of it.
She said to me, hey, would you come and do some story times for us? There's one where it was like literally snowing on us, and we were outside in the snow reading books and singing songs together, and it was like a great way for us to connect in person and be together.
I used to think Tod Pod was a pandemic thing, and it was born out of like a desire for connection. But what I've seen is Tod Pod has grown more since the pandemic eased up than it did during the pandemic, which tells me there was just a need for community, for connection. It still is just an email list. Like, it is not anything official, and yet it's so much more. Tod Pod got started with 8 families, and then as we moved around different parks and we added people, a year later it was 100. Today, 2 years and change later, it's 275.
It's just blossomed into such a huge community. It is very life-changing. I don't know what I would do without Tod Pod and the community that we have.
Always in her mind is, how do we make this more diverse? How do we make this more accessible? How do we make sure that we're including everyone?
I also chair the Bloomington Early Learning Advisory Council, which is a lot of words for a group that is separate but aligned with the school district, and specifically early childhood in the school district. That group exists to advocate and advise on the early childhood programming that the district does. Also to do some things that aren't as measurable but are equally as important. You know, building community, making school feel like more than a class you attend once a week.
And it's given me an opportunity to meet other parents in Bloomington with kids the same age as mine or similar ages who are also interested in creating something for the next generation of Bloomington citizens that's really cool and a legacy that we'll be proud to leave behind.
What made me nominate her and why I think she's such an asset to this community is she saw a need for community, and so instead of like lamenting that, she asked how can we build it, and then just did it.
I was very proud, and I think that, you know, if little people working on behalf of them qualifies to win a Human Rights Award, that makes me want to shout from the rooftops. And it's really cool to me that I could win this award and like elevate that for all of Bloomington to see.
She is blazing trails for all the rest of us parents to hop on and join her and do some really cool things for our kids.
I feel really connected now to Bloomington, and I probably will never leave. I just feel like I belong here.
I call it joy farming. The more I give to it, the more seeds I plant, the more things spring up and there's stuff to reap, and that's why it's grown and I continue it. But I kind of go by be the first person in the room or at the park to say hello. And if you do that, you can build a Tod Pod. That's the secret sauce, is just be the first person to say hello.